Hey everybody, so today I wanted to do a little bit of a chit chat with you guys. I've actually started this a few different times, once in the car, once at home, and Lexi finally seems content. She is on the other side of the baby gate watching Moana, which is now one of her favorites, but let's just go ahead and get into this because this is the third time I've been trying to do this. But I was supposed to do a day in the life. I am so tired. But last week I was supposed to do a day in the life. However, I did not get to it. Last week was rough. Not necessarily with the kids or how they were acting or anything like that, but just like as myself, as a mom, and as a person. It was difficult. Particularly about homeschooling. I just had a lot of self-doubts last week, and like I was failing Sophie and I wasn't making the right decisions, and you know, a lot of different things I was feeling, and I just didn't want to pick up the camera and do a day in the life. I'm sure a lot of you could have related to what I had to say, but like in the moment, it's like the last thing I want to do is put a camera in my face. I'm coming to you from a better mood, a better perspective, a better day. But yeah, last week we were just really struggling with English language arts. It's been something that honestly we've been struggling for the past couple weeks, but this past week I've hit my limit. So it kind of all started with the different curriculums that we've had. I've not enjoyed either of them because they spend 2 pages, literally 2 pages, on a concept like consonants, adjectives, nouns, like any of those things, and then they just immediately go into the next thing. It is so disheartening that the secular options are so underwhelming with what they give. If I want to do secular homeschooling, I don't feel like I should have to sacrifice in the level of education I can give my child. And I just feel like that's all that there's been. And there are some secular homeschool options, but they cost hundreds of dollars. And how do you afford that on the basis that it might not work for your family? Like, I just find some of this incredibly frustrating and hard to navigate. But with the help of 2 wonderful ladies over on Instagram who are kindergarten teachers, they helped me. They answered a lot of questions that I had. We went over a lot of stuff, things I was thinking. I showed them the Ohio standards and stuff so I could better understand that as well. So with all of that, I have a plan moving forward. I feel very optimistic about it. I feel a lot more clear on what she should be learning. It's also been frustrating because I've tried to look up the things that she's supposed to be learning, but it's not easily found, which is super frustrating. When you log on to the Ohio website and you're looking at the regulations and the rules and the whatevers for homeschooling, there should be an immediate link to some of the pages I found that are also an Ohio government website that leads you to the standards in which are expected of your child's grade. Why do I have to navigate the internet to find that stuff? I shouldn't. That should be upfront. That should be just honest and open information. It seems pretty important too. They wanted me to commit to 900 hours and that I would teach these subjects and that I have a diploma and this, that, and whatever. But you don't care about what I teach her? You don't care that I'm following your standards that you set for teachers in school? How is that helpful? Who are you helping? Nobody. And I know a lot of people have told me that it'll be okay. You know, it's going to work out fine. She's going to be ready for first grade and stuff like that. And I really do appreciate that. And I understand it's all with good intentions, but it's not that easy for me. It's not just about not being stressed out. There's some things that I struggle with as far as mental health, and it makes it more complicated. Obviously, one of the 2 most important things in my life are my kids, and if I feel like I'm failing them, it's awful. And I've been in therapy since May. I have been diagnosed with a couple of different things. I'm not quite ready to talk about them yet, but they play a huge role in me and how I am and the way I think and my emotions, how I view things. So it's not always as easy as, you know, don't stress out, it'll be fine. That doesn't work for me. I completely understand the good intentions behind that, and I appreciate that so much. You know, it's nice to know that people don't want me to stress out, but it's just not that easy, and it's really complicated to convey that. You know, if it really was a matter of a new perspective, I would get it. Trust me, I don't want to feel the way that I feel sometimes, but I am also a mom who struggles with mental health. I'm doing my best to work on that while homeschooling, while working from home, while being a wife to a husband who is an essential employee who is working himself to death. It's difficult. So, last week was a hard week. I meant to do a day in the life, but sometimes some weeks are harder than others, and I share bits and pieces of that on Instagram because it is so easy just to be in my stories and put up something really quickly. But as far as homeschooling goes, it has been going well. I think we've been in over a month of homeschool. I can't remember exactly, but I do plan on doing like a routine and an update with Sophie's curriculum and sharing things that have and haven't worked and stuff like that. I'm just waiting a little bit longer. The schedule is pretty routine. The homeschooling, like the ability to decide different things on a whim, has been nice. Again, it's difficult for me to not do things when I'm supposed to, but it was nice this past week when I was really struggling to figure things out, and I was like, okay, we'll skip this today, we'll come back to it tomorrow until I can, you know, look into it and, I don't know, get us more resources or whatever. And so this week was a little bit off. Hopefully next week we can be in a little bit more of a routine. But even stuff like that, routines are hard for me as well. Breaking away from them, I suppose, is the hard part. But yeah, with the girls, kindergarten's been going really well for Sophie. With Sophie, her favorite subjects are reading and math. Homegirl could do lessons and lessons of math a day. I have to make a stop. But the book that we're doing right now, which is the Singapore Dimensions KA, I knew this was going to be a bit easy for her, but this is Common Core, and it did say that it taught some of the first concepts of Common Core in this book. She's never learned Common Core before, so I went with it anyways. But we're almost done with that book, so I'm going to have to order KB here pretty soon. And with reading, can't recommend this book enough. I already said it on Instagram. It'll definitely be part of my update, and I'll give a more thorough explanation there. But it is the reading lessons, teach your child to read in 20 easy lessons. Reading was one of the things that I was most intimidated by, but she loves it. She's done so well. This is where we are in the book. It's huge, it's ginormous, and we do about like 3-4 pages a day, just depends on what she's feeling. But she can read things like this now. So it's been going really well, and she gets so proud of herself. Super proud of her. She loves doing that, and she loves doing her math every day. And it's been pretty interesting for me, like as a teacher. You know, science and math were not things that I enjoyed in school. They were things that I really personally struggled with. They're very hard for me to understand. But things like English and history, I excelled in. I had no problem with. I got straight A's, 100%, stuff like that. It was very easy for me. It came very naturally. But it's been kind of the reverse as far as like what I enjoy teaching wise. I really like teaching science and math with her, and English language arts has been a huge struggle. She's trying to break out of baby jail. History, we haven't really delved into. The first unit for history is very surface level kind of stuff, like roles, laws, authority, respect, stuff like that. Remy has been doing really well too, and I feel like she does very well in science. You know, I said in my homeschool videos that she would be sitting in on our science, history, and health. And the history and health, you can kind of, she has that same kind of Remy attitude where she listens and she does what she's supposed to, but you can tell she doesn't really like get into it. But with science, she really pays attention. She like absorbs it, and she can tell you the parts of a plant and what needs are and stuff like that, and she really, I think, enjoys it. Overall, it's been a pretty good experience, and for the most part the baby does nap while we are doing homeschooling. There's normally some time that she's up and we still have like an hour of something left to do, or we just got started, and she's trying to sing along with Moana right now. But she actually plays fairly well by herself over there, and she'll just kind of mosey around, and I think it helps being on the other side of the gate. She can see that we're still here, so she's okay with being by herself over there for a little bit, which has been really nice. Of course, there's days that like none of this goes according to how it typically does, and things have been a mess. Last week I woke up to Remy screaming at the top of her lungs, and the girls were in the kitchen, and I just had like the worst thought imaginable had happened, and I ran into the kitchen and they had spilled strawberry milk everywhere, and it had gotten all down Remy's hair and all over her and stuff, and that's why she was screaming. And then it was all over the tile floor. And then as I scrubbed the floors and I gave Remy a shower, the baby was crying because I wasn't going and getting her, I wasn't pumping for her, and it's just like... So some mornings are like that, and some mornings go pretty well. You know, just kind of obviously part of having kids. You never know what you're gonna get. Just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit, because it's been hard to navigate things. You know, when I see Sophie struggling with homeschooling, I start to think that it's because I'm not teaching her well enough, or, you know, she gets frustrated and then I get frustrated, and emotions can run high with this whole learning from school, whether you're virtually learning or homeschooling. Maybe you're doing a combination of in-person and virtual, you know, whatever. I'm sure even in person, and maybe if they're having kids come home with homework, I'm sure it's still difficult. But just want to let you guys know that you're not alone. And I hope if you've had a tough week that next week is better too. And if you are disliking English language arts as much as I am, that you're not alone in that either. I'm optimistic of where we're gonna go. I feel like it's gonna be in a way that's gonna be fun for her to learn, and she can enjoy it too, and also learn the things that she needs to in order to be ready for first grade next year. At the end of all these chit chats, I feel a little silly that I made a video about this stuff, and I question if I'm even gonna put it up, but I'm just gonna do it anyways. Because this is the reality of in between the videos. If you guys are wondering what I'm doing if I'm not sitting on that couch over there making sit-down videos, this is the kind of stuff that I'm dealing with, going through, thinking of, you know, experiencing, and I share some of that on my Instagram stories, but I want to bring more of it back over into YouTube. So hopefully this week I can also do a day in the life, but I'm going to end this before my camera overheats for a third time. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and as always, thanks for watching.